video, we're going to learn how to solve multi-step equations. And here are the three questions that I always have students ask themselves as they're solving equations. And I have a new part that I highlighted in question one that we're going to need to use for the multi-step equations. So the first question is, what number is on the same side as the variable but not with it? The second question is, what operation is going on to that number and what is its opposite? The third question is, what are you going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide from both sides? So we're going to keep coming back to these three questions as we work through our problems today. So here's our first problem. 3x plus 1 equals 7. So what makes this a multi-step equation is, traditionally you've been used to seeing 3x equals 6. And you would just do one thing. You do one step. You divide this side by 3, and you divide this side by 3, and you get x equals 2. In the type of problems that we're going to do today, we're going to have to do more than one step, thus the multi-step, in order to get our solution for what x is. So we're going to start with the first question. What number is on the same side as the variable, but not with it? So in other words, we're going to look on the left-hand side of our equation here, and we're going to look, here's our variable x. So we're going to look for the number that's on the same side, but it's not right with it. It's not right next to it. So the 3 is right next to the x. So that's not the number we're looking for. We're looking for this 1 because it's kind of all by itself here. So I'm going to look at the 1 and go, okay, what operation is going on to that x, to that variable? To that number. What operation is going on to this 1? Well, it's being added. What's the opposite of adding? Subtracting. So that means we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. Notice that I'm lining them right up. I'm lining up the -1 here with the 1 here, and I'm lining it up over here. So there's nothing here. I'm going to bring the 3x down, and adding 1 and subtracting 1, those end up canceling each other out. So we're just left with 7 minus 1 is 6. Now we're back to this kind of problem over here. So we're going to go back to the beginning of our questions. What number is on the same side as the variable? 3. What operation is going on to that 3? We're multiplying because there isn't a sign between the 3 and the x. So we're multiplying. What's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So that means we're going to divide both sides by 3. And I can show my division with a bar like that. And divide on both sides. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. Those end up canceling each other out. So we're just left with x. Bring down the equal sign. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And there's our answer. And if we wanted to, we could go back and substitute this 2 in for x up here, and we could solve, and we would find out that this is truly the answer, and it does work. Here's our next question. 6 minus 3x equals 21. So we're going to work through this in the same way. What number is on the same side as the variable, but not right with it? Well, here's the variable x. The 3 is right next to it, so we're looking for the 6. What operation is going on to that 6? Well, if I look in front of the 6, I don't see anything. So that means this 6 is positive. And in order to get rid of a positive 6, that means I actually have to subtract 6 from both sides. Notice that I'm lining everything up. These two cancel out. So now I'm left with negative 3x, which is the same as negative 3x or minus 3x. Equals 21 minus 6 is 15. And now we're going to start from the beginning of our questions. What number is on the same side as the variable? Negative 3. What operation is going on to it? Well, since there isn't any sign between the 3 and the x, that means we're multiplying. The opposite of that is dividing, so that means we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. So these end up canceling each other out, so we're left with x equals 15 divided by negative 3. A positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. And there's our answer. Make sure that you don't get confused with this subtraction sign. Remember, we could change this to addition, and this would be plus negative if you really wanted to. Make sure that you don't lose that negative sign. And here's our last kind of problem that we're going to do today. This problem requires us to simplify first. Remember, it means to put the like terms together. So if I look on the left side of the equal sign here, I have a negative 2y and I have a y. So that's negative 2 plus, remember there's an invisible 1 in front of that y. So negative 2 plus 1 would be negative 1, so negative y, minus 5 equals 11. All right, so we're going to start with what number is on the same side as the equal sign but not with it? Well, this 5 right here is on the same side. What operation's going on to that 5? We're subtracting. So the opposite of that is to add. So that means we're going to add 5 to both sides. Notice I'm lining everything up. We're left with negative y is equal to 11 plus 15 is 16. And now, remember, there's an invisible 1 in front of here, okay? So what number's on the same side as the variable? A negative 1. What operation's going on to it? We're multiplying. And the opposite of that is to divide. So that means we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. These end up canceling out, so we're left with y equals negative 16. So be careful when your variable has a negative coefficient. Make sure that you don't forget about that and just think here negative y equals 16 and that's your answer. You need to get rid of that negative sign by dividing by negative 1. And now we have a positive variable. So when you're working through multi-step equations, it's important to keep these 3 questions in mind. And if you ever get stuck, just keep working your way through these 3 questions.